Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Azman, and today my group will present about digital preservation in University Archive. And my group member is Nur Binti Baharin, Nur Hazirah Binti Zakaria, Shannon Eva, and Nur Binti Che Abdullah. And today we would like to present about digital preservation in University Archive.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. I'm Nur Hazirah Binti Zakaria. So, for the introduction, use of technology is growing up and becoming more advanced. Until today, all information is easily accessible everywhere because of the sophistication of the technologies available. Because of that, now we are moving from the use of traditional archive and records to digital and electronic archives. Then, the term preservation refers to all of the procedure used to extend the useful life of archival records. The goals of these preservation efforts is to stop all the information from being lost and to reduce physical and chemical deterioration of documents. Is digital preservation. Basically, the terms of digital preservation is the process of preventing the loss of digital information. It is a process that involves taking steps to ensure digital information can be accessed, used, and shared in the future while also meeting compliance requirements. Organizational issues has 5 parts. Firstly is internally or externally. If there is enough employees and infrastructure, digital preservation can be done internally, although outsourcing specific tasks or supports can save costs and make use of in-house resources. The easiest way to readily verify and check the quality of outsourced work is to detail design standard and reporting from a third party. The next organizational issue is collaboration. University Archive readily embrace the advantage of greater collaboration, but they also draw attention to potential challenge that can develop due to different agendas, timetables, or funding sources. However, collaboration in specific areas or at various intensities is often possible, which reduces this potential challenge. The other issue is arrangement change. Internal reorganization, mergers, and closure of university archive are becoming more common. As long as long-term endeavor, digital preservation is increasingly likely to be affected by change to university archive. This may affect in terms of changes to depositors and their main customer, suppliers, or partner. Therefore, changes to university archive are a big risks that need to be controlled. The other organizational issues is about organizational design. The structure of university archive may be influenced by the nature of technology and reliance on digital information preservation. Many activities overlap, so it makes sense to consider acquisition and maintenance at the same time. Staff from many departments needs to work together to provide responsibility for the preservation of digital material that have acquired and developed by the organization. The last organizational issues is about legal requirement. Legal issues of digital preservation are challenging. Digital resources often exist in several print and publication formats, and it may include software and information from various sources. Digital content is produced by a larger pool of creators than analog material, and it encompasses a wider variety of forms and intellectual property rights. Then it also can analog content. This legislation often lags behind standards for digital preservation and technological advancement.
Assalamualaikum and hello, my name is Nur Binti Baharin. Now I will go through to the topic of resources issues in digital preservation of archive materials. Okay, firstly is about the cost and the budget. As spaces for university archive make it difficult to easily isolate costs for digital preservation. The cost of at each stage of the digital life cycles are important because the fundamental of goals of digital preservation. And then digital preservation is to maintain access through time in that sense. So although the expenses of producing digital content is important, it may require the inclusion of a cost component that will ultimately help it in long-term preservation. Okay, number 2 is about the career and skill. University archive must play multiple responsibilities, and the employer must be multiple talents to doing digital preservation. Then digital preservation usually require some extraordinary talent. As a result, university archive must be assembled a multidisciplinary team and supporting materials. So the next resources issues is the convenience. The basic facilities or infrastructure, usually of a technological nature, are required for effective digital preservation in order to serve as the basis for the operational process and processing of digital materials. And the large amount of storage are now available at affordable prices thanks to the enterprise storage solutions. Although they have a short lifespan, usually between 4 and 8 years, they are easy to monitor and replace when they no longer works. And then digital repository system. Many of the basic requirements for the preservation or digital materials are automatically made by dedicated digital preservation system or reliable digital repositories. And then each digital object store, they will have a unique identification from the repository collections or applications. So object store will be managed. The characteristics will be known, and the repository manages maintenance planning will be assist. And then in addition, it will facilitate access to the things. Then lastly, the resources issues that I will explain are about the high performance computers. Means more storage space and processing power is required as the data volume increases. And explain the evaluate technique for digital preservation of archive materials. That's all from me, and thank you.
The importance of preserving digital content may be tracked back to a wide range of elements that are all connected to the composition of archival material. Documents should be preserved so that they can be accessed and used in the future, regardless of the information that they are in. So, the first importance of digital preservation is long-term archiving. The technique of digital preservation is an essential step in storing content for the subsequent use. Because of this, we were able to accomplish what is known as a long-term archiving. And this is also indicate that we can avoid the risk of losing or destroying data if we back up our key data to digital storage and then keep it in numerous locations. The second importance in record will be more secure and digitized. As we already seen, digital preservation is not only required in a variety of contexts, but it is also an essential step in the lifetime of document. In point of fact, this is the only method that can guarantee the evidential acquisition of electronic document and keep their authenticity and enforceable against third parties over the course of time. And this is the only method to protect oneself against the third parties, regardless of whether those third parties are consumers, supplier, or the regulators. And last but not least, the importance of digital preservation is the guarantee that digital document and information retain their integrity, understandability, originality, and authenticity. So, the long-term digital preservation has to ensure that digital document and information retain their integrity, understandability, originality, and authenticity while also maintaining their accessibility. A number of prerequisites need to be met by file format before they can be used for this kind of preservation, and the long-term outlook of file format is improved by their widespread use and acceptance.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Binti Che Abdullah and my metric number is 2022758447. Now I will explain about Open Archival Information System. In order to enable a long-time preservation of digital materials, the reference model for an Open Archival Information System (OAIS) was created. OAIS is a group of individuals and technologies that has taken on the duty of keeping information safe and making it accessible for a designated community. There are two models developed in the Open Archival Information System, which are functional model and informational model. These are the functional entities of the functional model in Open Archival Information System. This model consists of 6 entities. Ingest is the procedures receive digital resources from producers and get it ready for the archive storage. The second one is the archival storage, in which it makes sure that preserved digital items are stored properly and that their bit streams continue to be comprehensive and renderable over time. Data management functions to distinguish and characterize metadata for digital resources that have been archived. Next is the access, which is the entity that helps consumers to find, retrieve, and get information about digital resources stored in archival storage. Administration is the entity in the functional model that serves as the primary hub for communications between the administration, producers, and consumers. And the last entity is the preservation planning. It observes the outside environment for risks or adjustments that may affect the digital resources in the archival storage. This figure here shows the workflow of the functional model in the Open Archival Information System. The information that flow within the OAIS model is called the packages, with the related interfaces, both solid and dotted lines that show the interaction between the various functions. SIP, which stands for Submission Information Package, comprises the digital items that have been given to a repository for preservation, as well as the metadata and information that goes with them. AIP stands for Archival Information Package, comprises the digital content that has been added to the repository, as well as the information that goes with them and is required for access and preservation. And DIP stands for Dissemination Information Package, which is the information obtained by a user when gaining permission to access the digital material via the user interface of the repository.
Greetings, I'm Eva Severinus. Now I will go through the informational model, which is the foundation to understand that a university archive must hold a lot more data than the contents of the item that is intended to preserve the digital preservation over the long term. So here, the package description contains details about an information package that could access and utilize with a piece of software or written material which known as an access aid that could enables user to find, access, and other relevant archival information packages. Contrarily, packaging information is employed to connect and distinguish the elements in an information package rather than being designed for direct usage by the consumer. So, the entire process of transforming the data into significant information is made possible by the combination of the data object for digital information, which is the series of bits, and representation information, which actually can make up the content information. So the consumer will additionally need knowledge of the file type like the representation information in order to display and utilize that digital object as an image. So here is the series of bits. The digital object might indicate an assortment of pixels. The display and use of the image will involve not only the scalable vectors graphics standard, but as well as the other requirements to encode character and uniform resource identifiers by which XML itself relies. Next is the components in OAIS predicate. So here there are four components in the preservation description information, which is the first one is reference information. It comprises a list of unique identities that were given to the data, including the ISBN or the Uniform Resource Name, or known as URN. Secondly is the provenance information. It is to record the sources, chain of control, preservation measures, and outcome of the sources information. This type of metadata supports the validity and consistency of a digital asset, which is crucial for record keeping and publication. Thirdly, context information. It indicates how a piece of content interacts with its surroundings, including its origins and relationship with other data items. The last one is fixity information. It is the attributes that will record the verification processes, ensuring that the data are accurate or demonstrating the level of modification, for example, the digital signature. As a conclusion, this study shows that the impact of technological advancement has changed the way records are being managed and preserved for long-term use. In fact, all types of institutions, including the businesses, government agencies, libraries, and archives, are impacted by the digital information. So generally, the digital preservation has undertaken the traditional way of records preservation since it is shareable and transportable within the employees or staff members who manage the university records itself. That's all from us. Thank you.